Welcome back to DR Boxing. My name is Laurie. To my left, I've got Nick Francis, aka the voice of reason. I've also got James Toon in the house, two of my big buddies in boxing. We're here to talk about the relevant stories in the boxing world. Right, now, I came across a story in the boxing news recently about Teofimo Lopez. He recently gave an interview to a boxing website. I think it might have been Punch Drunk Boxing or one of those. So I'm going to give you the credit, bro, if it was your interview. Teofimo, he's giving an interview. He's got an upcoming fight against Josh Taylor, and he was obviously promoting the fight. And then the guy was asking him about Josh Taylor. And during the interview, he said words to the effect that he wants to take Josh Taylor's life. Mm-hmm. Now, and first thing, when I saw that, I was a bit taken aback, naturally. I thought, what, you're joking? Surely he's going to say, oh, I didn't mean to say that. But he did, and he doubled down in the interview. And later, since then, he's been criticised, as you may imagine. And he's doubled down, and he's saying, no, he's got the mindset where he wants to take Josh Taylor's life. Now, of course, we've heard this kind of crass thing before. Mm-hmm. People like Mike Tyson, Deontay Wilder.
Mike Tyson said he wanted to shatter someone's nose, so it went up through their eyeballs or something.
Yeah, so, Deontay Wilder's spoken about it's his ambition in boxing.
Is that a mentality you have to have? Is it a kill or be killed mentality?
Well, you tell me. Let's start with,
because, I mean, you know, you've heard, I mean, very famous quotes. Israel Adesanya comes to mind. I was prepared to die in that ring. Should it be the same mentality of prepared to kill? I mean, I think you could argue that it is bitter taste because it will leave you with a sour taste in your mouth because a lot of people do and have died in a boxing ring. So
let me cut you right there. I did a bit of research on this, and they're estimating that since boxing, you know, in the modern era was invented, 2,000 fighters have lost their lives in a boxing ring. That's not all professional boxing. But yeah, close to 2,000 fighters. And that doesn't, by the way, include the amount of people that have suffered like brain injuries or neurological damage.
That's thousands. CTE is a massive killer.
I mean, even the fight that we covered at the weekend, the Condon one, on the undercard to that, Nick Ball, we watched that fight actually. Yeah. He was fighting a South African guy called Lamati. He stopped him in the 12th round. After the fight, Lamati felt unwell. He got hospitalized. I think they gave him oxygen at the ring, didn't they? Mm-hmm. He got hospitalized and he fell into a coma.
Yeah, I have to retract my words on that one because I said they should have let it go another 50 seconds. So I have to retract my words on that one. But yeah, I think there's such a fine line between going in there to cause someone harm or serious damage, and then that fine line between life and death, and referencing death and referencing basically manslaughter. I know because it's in a ring, it wouldn't count as that, but technically manslaughter. For me, especially as a Christian man, I don't like the talk of death personally. It does leave me with a bit of a funny taste. But Teofimo Lopez is notorious for coming out with wild statements, whether that's him trying to be a villain or, you know, stuff going on. I know he's got marital issues and he's got a lot of demons in his life.
He probably thinks in order to sell the fight, he's got to come out with something a bit far-fetched and a bit afield. But for me, this was crass. It was unnecessary. It's in poor taste, and let's face it. I mean, what I always say about these kind of things is imagine if in that fight with Josh Taylor, something happens either to Josh Taylor or to him. How does that look once, you know, you come out and said stuff like this? It's really poor. Nick, what's your comment?
Teofimo Lopez quickly becoming the most unlikable man in boxing. Comments in poor taste, you know, disgusting, childish, juvenile. In my opinion, you never want to see it. You never want to hear these types of comments. He's a well-schooled boxer and fighter. His dad's his trainer. He knows a lot about boxing history. He would have seen Wilder make these comments. He would have seen the backlash that Wilder got. He'll know about, you know, as far back as you want to go, Tyson, whoever else's comments and people saying these types of things. And like we always say, you don't play boxing. People die in the ring. So, you know, these types of comments, there's plenty of people who can sell fights. You know, you can look at Prince Nassim. You can look at people that you can sell fights through entertainment. You can sell fights through shit talking. You can sell fights through good performances. Talking about killing someone in the ring is childish. Really, really childish and in poor taste. And like James said as well, I might have I understand there's times where there's adrenaline flowing, you say things like that it's in poor taste, you don't realize, etc. But this Teofimo Lopez is a repeat offender. At 25 years old, he's done this time and time and time again. And I think comments like this turn the crowd against you more than turn the crowd in your favor.
And it's a shame, really, because by all accounts, I've heard stories out of the ring that he's actually meant to be a very decent guy. He's meant to be very charitable. He's meant to be, a very giving guy to the youth, especially young people in his community. So
it's such a 180 to that point. It's such a 180 to the character that he came in and presented himself with when he was his personal issues and stuff like that. That doesn't wash. Everybody's got personal issues. To me, that just doesn't wash. You're 25 years old now. You're a grown man. You're married. There's no excuse for this type of behavior, in my opinion.
I mean, qualify it a little bit by saying it's a mindset that he's adopting, and that he had a similar mindset when he fought Loma. But when he fought Loma, and he won that fight, by the way, fought very well, he never actually came out with these statements. So having a mindset that you're going to go in and do a job on somebody is different to publicly coming out.
Where was that mindset against George Kambosos?
Well,
we can, I don't. You can verbalize stuff. As far he's an articulate man, Teofimo. Do you know what I mean? He's not getting Nobel prizes.
No, I wouldn't say
he's not getting Nobel Peace Prizes, but he's not an idiot. Do you know what I mean?
When you say something like this, you are an idiot.
But that's an idiotic thing to do, and it's more idiotic because when I say he's articulate, what I mean, he's not going to go on countdown. But what I mean is, I think he could get that message across with different terminology. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't need to say that for that message.
And when you think as well, this is coming off the back of the racially motivated comments he made.
There was only last week or 2 weeks ago we spoke about this. Do you know what I mean? You can keep all those black fighters or something like that. What's this guy? What's going on with him?
I think we've referenced it before as well. He does have some issues outside the ring. It would appear that
he's gone through a very, very, very bad divorce, which is very public.
No, I'm not making an excuse. I'm saying, he clearly has issues outside the ring. I would add on top of that, he's also got a dad who, if you've ever seen his dad and hear his dad talk, you kind of know where he's coming from.
But what he does with these comments, even if he is trying to sell the fight and even if he is trying to be a controversial figure, is he adds a huge amount of pressure to himself because then everybody's going to want to watch him lose. Do you know what I mean? So he's going to put a lot of pressure on himself.
Mind you, you say that, but in today's world, that might not be the case. You've got some weirdos out there that might gravitate to this type of crass behavior.
Some of them are on the
remember when Mike Tyson was saying this type of stuff, I'd regularly come across a lot of people that actually thought it was funny.
I love trash talk. I love Tyson Fury. I love Chael Sonnen. I love Conor McGregor. I love these people that will just talk shit for days.
I've heard Conor McGregor say similar things in the past.
Yeah, the only thing, I don't know if that's a mentality. Look, like I said, it is a very primal instinct when you step in the ring with someone. It is a very kind of kill or be killed kind of nature you have to adopt. The actual reference to killing someone is the only thing that I kind of disagree with in that. Otherwise, any trash talk you want, as long as it's not homophobic, racist, any of these kind of things, then I think...
No, I think this is just as bad, bro. Just trust me, I think.
Well, this is the one that I think referencing purely like killing someone is a slightly bad taste.
You say in the aftermath of the fight, I was only doing it to promote the fight. It's still in very bad taste. I mean, like I said, you have lots of fighters who are losing their lives, who are suffering serious brain injuries, and you got a clown like this making comments. Like I said, what would happen to the sport of boxing if in the aftermath of their fight next week, one of them was seriously hurt? Then people would be using the comments and say, look, what a barbaric, brutal sport. This guy actually went into the ring wanting to kill another man.
Well, he's also, anything could happen. And if he did seriously damage him, then it would look very, very bad on his character, and he'd probably feel very guilty for saying the things he did.
It would also, from a legal perspective, it will damage you in court if you kill someone in the ring and try to use the...
No, but legally, he's fine.
It will damage you in court. I'm telling you, if you have openly said before the fight, I want to kill this guy.
But it wouldn't go to court.
And then you kill him.
I don't think it would go to court. But one thing where I would agree with you, Nick, is that you said earlier, I think you made a comment that Chris Billam-Smith had done boxing a favour by relieving Lawrence Okolie of his titles. Yes. I'm not saying I agree with that statement, but I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But I absolutely think that
Josh Taylor
would be doing boxing a huge favour if next week he soundly defeats Teofimo Lopez. The guy needs to check himself, man. He probably needs some time away from the sport because his mouth is getting out of control.